people need stuff to do.
Third places, man.
Yeah.
Give me some third places. And no offense to speeders, but give me some third places that aren't $100 every half hour.
I had never heard the term before until I was chatting with
third places?
with Sherrod. Yeah,
third places.
Yeah, third place.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about like the lack of third places.
Yeah.
And I'd actually I don't know, you know how I am. Like someone will bring up anything, and I start going like, oh, you're like what would be the opportunity to to fix this? And so this was actually on our China trip, and I was brainstorming with Sherrod this idea for Third Place Inc. And it actually, there's some pretty cool ideas. I couldn't afford to do it here because it's just like kind of crazy. But the basic idea behind it is you want to remove the decision paralysis of deciding where you're going and what you want to do. Like it's kind of the physical equivalent of, you know how it's impossible to decide what to watch because there's so many options.
Yeah, or
whether
play
it's on
because of Steam.
Plex or Netflix. And yeah, exactly that. So you go on, like, we must have all been there. Everyone's hungry. You fire up Google Maps, and there's just a zillion options. So the idea is that with Third Place Inc., you remove that friction. You just go there. So it would like have programming or events, but none of them would be posted online. And maybe the bulletin board, literally, like I had this idea of having like a door peephole style lens, so you can like look, and you can like see what's going on today, but you can't like take a picture of it or anything. You know, obviously people would post them, but you try to discourage it. And so the idea is just that you just have this kind of like programming events, whether it's like, okay, tonight we're doing poker night. You're not good at poker? It doesn't matter. Everyone's playing poker tonight. Flagship locations could be set up with all kinds of activities that encourage casual coexistence. So a music listening room with a jukebox. Crazy idea, not a new idea. But the idea being that everyone doesn't just have their headphones in. There's music playing, and everyone can take their turn, and for 50 cents or whatever, for $1, you pick the next song. Karaoke, billiards, tabletop games. It'd be cool if it was membership based, so you don't have to pay every time you go there. So you kind of remove that friction. You just go hang out. You'd want to be somewhere transit friendly. And then, one of the things that came up with, okay, how do you deal with unsavory stuff? Drug deals, hooking up in the bathrooms. Do you do it through a members code of conduct? Do you count on people to self-police? That's kind of as far as we got. But like, man, how much would you enjoy just having a Pop's chocolate shop? And that's a bit of a dated.
That's a reference.
Dated reference,
yeah.
But
yeah, no, I think it would be.
They're like
cool
a country club. Remember the part about it being affordable, though. That's where the country club thing doesn't really land for most people.
But then the issue with it being affordable is, how do you do that affordably these days? Like, how do you have that much space in anywhere in British Columbia?
I mean, that's the one part.
Anywhere that has population.
That's the one part that most people didn't understand about Smash Champs. Like, that's the things that they thought were stupid were not stupid at all. And the things that almost nobody flagged were very stupid.
The building?
The building itself, because...
That's been strange to me that people didn't put that together.
The number of people mad about us acquiring the tech house, another house, and like not recognizing that compared to our commercial real estate acquisitions, that's like...
It shows up on the line.
Oh, it's a line item.
It's a line item.
It's definitely a line item.
It's for sure a line item.
But like, okay.
I think part of the problem with this is just like magnetizing people away from these and these types of things.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mention that. You check your phone at the door.
Oh no, I meant to get there at all. because get them out of their house, get them out of their bedroom or whatever. There's a video I watched from, hopefully I don't pronounce it wrong, but I think it's...
You're going to like this though. You're going to like this. No,
sure. I'll pause this. It's fine.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
But the idea was that you check your phones at the door, but that's okay because at the reception, you can opt to leave it so that to leave it out or to put it in the box. And then if you get an emergency call, literally you can like call third place that wasn't the idea. That was one idea. And then I was like, no, there's too many privacy issues. And then the new idea was that you have a landline at third place and then you'd have to call and then they'd like page you. Like, remember when you were trying to reach your parents at work when we were kids?
Yeah.
And you'd have to call the office and you'd be like scared to talk to the stranger and be like, can I talk to Mrs. Sebastian? I'm like, yeah. Can I tell her who's calling? Yeah, it's her son. Oh, okay, little Linus. Yeah, I'll go get her. And then it would be like 5 minutes and they'd go get them.
You could potentially, like, if you had the phones badged by name, which wouldn't be very hard. I mean, be kind of automatic. I'm assuming you're bagging it somehow with a tag so you know who to give it to. You could just see the caller ID. If there's no caller ID, who cares? Just let it ring through anyways. But if there's a caller ID, you could be like, so-and-so, this caller ID is calling you. And then that person can decide if they want to come get their phone or not. But that's pretty sweet. I watched this video from, I think it's Emil. Sorry. They say their name in the video and I already forgot how to pronounce it. But you should install a cheap computer in your room. And I don't know why I clicked on this, but I think my thought process was like, why? Why would I possibly want a cheap computer in my room? Their argument was actually pretty good. I don't want to play it because you should go watch it.
For MSN Messenger.
No.
That's why I had one.
I've heard there's still versions that work, by the way.
No way.
I've
Shut
heard
up.
through the grapevine. But their argument was that for them, by doing this, they might choose a higher medium. And through doing that, not doom scroll. They might watch a movie. They might play a game. They might do something. I don't remember all the details. It's been a bit since I watched it. Go watch it if you're interested. But I liked the thought process of just something to keep me from doom scrolling. And I think these are such crazy magnets these days. And I think it's part of the equation, probably a small part. I think the biggest part is that just land and everything costs so much freaking money these days. But part of the reason why I think third places are disappearing is because people just aren't engaging as much because they're sucked into this. They're sucked into just vegetating on Netflix all day. They're sucked into something that keeps them at home alone. And it kind of sucks. I am a person that very, very much deeply values my alone time, but I also have to understand that there's kind of too much. And something that would be kind of neat about a third place, you mentioned the like music listening room.
Yeah, how cool would that be?
There's these ideas of being alone but amongst people, and it is a very different thing than being alone by yourself at home rotting in bed. It is very different. Even if you're not actively socializing, maybe you're just hanging out in the back of the music listening room, vibing out, listening to different tracks people put on. Maybe most of the time you're not all that interested in what it is, but maybe someone puts on a song that you really jive with for some reason and you ask them about it and figure out who the band is, whatever else, and you have these like little interactions. It can be really healthy, especially, I'm assuming a very high percentage of males are in the audience right now, especially for us. There's a crazy, like, we don't socialize with anyone problem going on right now where we all just spend all of our time alone, and fighting against that is like a valiant thing to do.
So this stage in development occurs around 2 to 4 years, and it's called parallel play.
I love parallel play.
When a child plays alongside or near others, but doesn't play with them. So different toys in the same sandbox, or a group of kids drawing on their own papers while sitting side by side, focused on their own journeys, but still aware of one another. And it feels like we're not even getting there.
No.
Sometimes.
Parallel play is great.
And you were saying, like, we end up alone in our homes. We also end up alone outside of our homes.
Yeah.
I saw this really interesting, I see both sides exchange
AirPods
on Reddit.
in, eyes forward.
So it was kind of a women centric subreddit.
Sure.
Talking about how how invasive and uncomfortable and almost like borderline aggressive it is if someone approaches them in public when they have their AirPods in, and and I kind of went, and they were like, it's, when you have your AirPods in, it makes you seem unapproachable. And they're like, that's the point. And I'm like, oh man, definitely see both sides, because it especially, like, I'm not a woman. Big surprise. Shocker.
Oh,
I know, right? Not a woman.
I would have never known.
But there are definitely aspects of the being a woman experience that I have witnessed as a third party non-woman that would make me really uncomfortable in public.
Yeah, a little bit too much attention.
Yep. A little bit too much attention.
You might just want to be by yourself today.
Might just want to listen to my music and jog.
Be left alone.
And maybe I'm wearing short shorts because I don't want to wear sweaty leggings that are tied up against my legs, but that's not an invitation to, want to touch them.
Sure.
Sure. That makes total sense. Perfectly reasonable. On the other hand, like, you go out in public and like everyone has their AirPods in. Not literally everyone. I'm obviously being a little hyperbolic right now, but many people do. And you kind of wonder, okay, but like, what was it like before that? And were there things about that were maybe better?
And healthy.
And maybe healthier.
But again, I have put the AirPods in and hoped no one would talk to me before. I totally get it.
Sometimes, mid-conversation, I'll even put my AirPod back in, hoping that somebody might recognize a nonverbal cue. But, without, categorizing our community, I will say there are
social cues might not be
many members of the LTT community that don't really pick up nonverbal body language cues, so it doesn't always work. But you try. And you know what? Like, I get that. I'm not offended by it. I'm not upset by it.
Doesn't really bother me.
I'm also not a woman.
Totally.
And it really is different.
Very different experience.
Very different. When I'm getting unwanted attention from a man, it's just kind of like, bro, go do something else.
It's also fascinating. I don't know. We don't need to go down this chain, really. But it's fascinating to me, like, if I am, like, attached to, say, my partner right now.
Yeah.
If I'm
Hypothetically,
right next to them, or my arms around them, or holding
like
hands,
physically
or something,
attached.
if there is some strong indication that I am with this person, it's fine. The second I, like, float out of the picture, it changes. And it's like,
so you're saying you're the jealous type?
Well, no. If we're like this, it's fine to talk to me. If he's not next to me, that is not my point. That is not my point.
He might go full, like, Papa Bear mode. You watch out for that.
My point is that, like, it's surprising how palpable and fast the change in attention can be. And like, we saw this in New York. I was floated off to the Emma was getting something from a food cart. And you, Yvonne, and I were all kind of more floated off to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were reading the side of the thing. So she was kind of on her own. And some dude came up, like, pretty close right behind her. And I repositioned, and then they left. And it was like, that was fast.
It's almost like we're actually, really, like, fast animals.
Yeah.
And everything, like, you know how every man somehow knows which urinal to stand at?
Yeah.
And it's funny because women will talk about how they, like, don't get it. That's because you never needed to. That's because 100,000 years ago, 1,000,000 years ago, you weren't marking your territory with this thing. You like, but it's culturally universal.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm serious.
Did humans mark their territory with piss? I know dogs did. Did humans do that?
Humans might not have, but something at some point did.
We definitely.
There's clearly vestigial Like, I don't want to pee right next to another dude unless we're pretty close. Do you?
No. Yeah, sure. All right.
Like
I'll follow. Yeah.
Like there's occasional social situations.
I think it might just be like shyness because you have your dong out and in your hands. And you don't want to be like literally shoulder to shoulder with someone.
But where's the origin of that? Why do we have that shyness? Would I be shy sitting next to another dude and ripping a fart?
Yeah, probably not as
Probably
much.
not.
I think
There's something coming out of my butt,
this might
and
be
you won't like it.
This might be a hot take, but I think fart smelling is different than dong looking.
But the thing, I mean, you could
dong gazing is a little different than fart smelling.
At the urinal, though, there's usually a barrier anyway. So it's not even about the look. It's not even rational anymore.
Hot take: if you're a tall dude, there effectively is not a barrier.
Okay, that's fair.
And like, you know what? I'm not even trying to be like, oh, I'm tall. You think there's a barrier for Lucas? There ain't no barrier for Lucas.
This is true. This is very true. But what I'm basically saying is like, there's things that are non.
No, I hear you.
Don't need to be communicated.
Yeah.
That are nonverbal. That we all just like kind of understand, except the ones that don't. And coming way back around, some of them can make life a little uncomfortable to be a woman.
Yeah.
And I don't have to experience that, which is great. And unfortunately, AirPods might be limiting our ability to socially interact. And third place would strive to be different somehow and probably would fail for that reason. Because people, like I said, in that subreddit, they liked it this way. And wanted it this way.
And the whole third place
thing, that's valid.
It might end up a pit of 300 dudes that are all single.
Everyone back in the pile.
And you know, you might walk in that door and feel a little targeted when 600 eyeballs turn at you all at once.
Not to mention the other balls.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I don't know. There's problems with these things. It is a tragedy that a lot of these third places are gone, but I don't have an answer for it.